Welcome back, guys.
1, 2, 3. Okay. Welcome back, guys. It is the 23rd of February. Aimee and I have been doing the keto/intermittent fasting challenge since the beginning of the month. This is our wrap-up video before we bleed into March's
new
21-day challenge. So in this video, we talk about whether we suggest the challenge to other people, the expenses behind it, difficulty rating, and what we like and did not like about it. So I guess with that, let's just jump into, would you suggest the challenge to other people to try keto/intermittent fasting?
I would. We've been on this challenge for 21 days. I lost 2 pounds and an inch. So that was definitely worth sacrificing me liking my food for a couple weeks. But I think I liked it enough to actually go to the end of the month versus just continuing for 21 days.
Sure.
So I will continue this challenge, the keto/intermittent challenge, to the end of this month. And then we start a new challenge the beginning of March.
I would suggest people trying it out, more so suggest people trying the intermittent fasting portion than the keto portion. And for those that don't quite know the difference, you can watch our first video at the beginning of the month. But I think the intermittent fasting is a lot easier to do, and we can talk about that coming up here. But I think it's more of a lifestyle longevity change. I think the keto diet itself is rather difficult, and Aimee's talking about doing it for the rest of the month. I plan to do it until we find another diet of sorts. But for it to be realistic for me, the keto diet's really gonna be strictly during the weekdays, low carbs during the weekdays, and then we'll actually introduce carb cycling on the weekends so we can be a little more loose with our regimen. It's really a matter of convenience. It's a lot of upfront planning to make meals that are low in carbs. So just to introduce a little bit of that convenience back into our lives, I think we're gonna go from 7 days a week to more of a 5 days a week. But with the intermittent fasting piece, really that hasn't been all that inconvenient. Mm-mm. After that first week, once you hit the consistency of not eating until a certain window, it becomes really, really easy.
I agree with that, coming from a person who loves breakfast.
Yeah, she loves breakfast, and she still loves breakfast,
Yeah.
but she's still able to
hold off until
lunch. As far as difficulty and pricing is concerned, I'll start with that. I think from a scale of 0 to 10, that first week honestly was probably 6 or 7 for me. So it was pretty difficult. The last 2 weeks, it has not been that difficult at all. Again, there's a level of convenience that you sacrifice, but for at least the first 21 days, it's not too terrible. So that probably balances out to like a 5 out of 10 difficulty level.
And that's just in the beginning.
Yeah, and that's in the beginning. Just adjusting. And I guess it's fair to say anything in the beginning is difficult. As far as price is concerned, we actually haven't gone through our budget yet for this month. At first, we were pretty surprised about how much we spent. But just to what Aimee said, the upfront part of it, we spent a lot of money in that first week. Just filling our cabinets with things that we could actually use versus things we already had. So I think at first we thought, man, this is a really pricey lifestyle change. But ultimately, once we look at the finances, I'm gonna guess that it's about the same. We definitely did not go out and eat as much as we normally do.
Maybe twice.
Yeah, once or twice, maybe.
In 21 days.
Yeah, in 21 days, which is not that much for us. For us, It's typically 3 to maybe even 5 times a week. If you consider like lunches in there. I mean, for me, I'm going to lunches quite a bit.
I'm not.
Yeah, you're not. So I think from a price point, it's actually fairly stable. At first, you're going to say, man, you're spending a lot of money, but ultimately, I think it levels out. It might be a notch or 2 more expensive than our day-to-day routine today or prior to the challenge. With that, our kitchen and our fridge, we've never seen it so packed full of food.
No.
We are very lean in regards to how much food we have on hand so that we cook it when it's time to cook it and then we eat it and then it's over with. For this keto challenge, we just filled up our kitchen, and in a large part that's that whole spike in the beginning, and then it kind of stables out from there.
Planning is key.
Planning is key for sure. And again, that's really the keto diet portion of it. The intermittent fasting, like if you wanted to just start with that, it's really easy to just tell yourself, I'm not going to eat until 10 o'clock and I'm going to stop at 6. And that's a really good start. But again, we wanted to do both at the same time. Quickly, the last video, we did a mid-challenge update and we talked about things we liked and things we didn't like. Just quick recap. What's the thing you liked the most? What's the thing you hated the most?
I was surprised at the thing I liked most was the intermittent fasting portion of the whole thing. I didn't think I was going to do very well with cutting breakfast out completely, and I actually did much better than I thought I did. I was able to go the 21 days without even like cheating and having like a pancake that I would make for Des for breakfast. It was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. The thing I hated the most was the frustration level of not hitting ketosis, and then I got my cycle. Mood swings were really, really difficult to deal with. An update on that though, I didn't have an abnormally long cycle. It was the same cycle that I normally have, about 4 to 5 days.
Yeah, so the thing you disliked the most was the cycle. And if you guys are super unsure what she's talking about, watch the last video that we talk about the menstrual cycle.
I got my period the second weekend,
yes.
And it was not fun.
Yeah, it was definitely not fun. It impacts your keto levels for sure. So if you didn't watch the last video, highly recommend watching that video. Unless you're a guy and that doesn't apply to you, then I guess you don't have to go back. But
skip it.
The thing I liked the most, the thing I hated the most, the thing I disliked the most for sure is not getting hungry. And I talked about this in the last video. You don't realize that you actually enjoy feeling that satisfaction of feeding your hunger. When you get into this intermittent mode, like you quite literally forget to eat because you don't get hungry anymore, and it's really frustrating.
It's sometimes hard to get your meals into because of that.
Yeah, for sure. The thing I like the most is how easy it was to adapt. I thought that this was going to be really, really difficult. The keto portion of it, yes, the diet, like making, because we want to make our own foods, is challenging. We know we have some followers that have been using Green Chef. I think it's Green Chef. So essentially they've ordered meal plans where they get the meals shipped to them. I highly suggest that if you have any concerns about like sticking to the diet, I would definitely go that route, have the meals pre-made. Beyond that piece of it, it was really easy and convenient to be low on carbs. It's just you have to know what to look for. So even going to Wendy's, for example, there's a low carb option. It's just not going to taste great, but there's a low carb option. So I was pretty surprised how easy it was to adapt to both of those. But there's definitely a level of convenience if you want your food to taste good. Yeah. So just to wrap up the keto intermittent fasting thing, I think we both would suggest it to other people to try it out. Maybe one, not both. Both if you really want to go all in.
If you do go both of them at the same time, I would highly suggest the meal planning versus you planning 21 days or 30 days or whatever meals. I think it was more difficult going that route versus a lot of other people we knew did the meal planning, and I think it's much easier to stay on goal on target with your carbs. So that would be my suggestion. I
totally agree with Amy's point. Unless you're totally used to cooking every single day and you already have dietary needs and you can just kind of plug in these other meals, I would definitely go with a pre-made meal package, and that way you're more focused on just coming home, cooking up whatever is already prepped for you, and then being done. With that, overall, how about this? Overall, 0 out of 10.
Okay.
Can't do that because we haven't done any other challenges. Just kidding. I was going to compare it to other challenges, but I'm like, wait a minute, we only did one other one. With that, our next challenge starts March 1st. If you're not used to our cadence, we wrap up on the 21st and we start researching our next challenge. So our next challenge is, go ahead. Yoga. And Amy loves this. Amy's done yoga off and on for
3 years.
3 years now, but she's never hit, like, other than one stint, she's never hit a cadence where she was 4 days a week or anything that serious. I think the most that you've done is like 2.5, 3 days a week, and that was like for a couple of weeks before you got pregnant, I think.
Yeah,
something like that. So we're gonna do 21 days of yoga. We're gonna do research starting, actually we started already. We're doing research on what our options are in regards to yoga plans, what to expect. But on March 1st, we'll have a video that highlights the challenge. The framework is really simple, 21 days. We're literally gonna do 21 days in a row of yoga. That includes this guy. I am not very flexible, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. But yeah, so that's gonna be our challenge. You're super excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. Sure, I'm excited about it. I'm gonna continue the keto diet and intermittent fasting until I find another diet that replaces it. Amy's gonna go at least till the end of the month, and I think she's gonna join me on the carb cycling on weekends.
Yep.
But essentially, we're gonna introduce into our regimen yoga every single day. So if you are a yogi, is that what they're called? If you're a yogi or you go consistently, would love to hear like your thoughts below. I'm sure there's like some snakes in the grass that we're not thinking about, but we're gonna try it anyways. But yeah, would love to hear your thoughts below.
Yep.
Otherwise, I think that's it.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks for staying tuned. And stay tuned for our next challenge and more videos to come in our updates.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.
Des, what's wrong? Did Daddy take the peanut butter off your face?
Yeah.
Is that why you're mad?
Yeah.
Oh.